Now, after 17 years, 2 months, you get out. How hard was it to adapt that, like, okay, I'm not locked up anymore? Did it ever go away? Has it gone away?
Not fully, man, because you don't realize the damage, right? You don't realize the damage that you have endured or that has been inflicted. I'm not blaming nobody,
Right.
but in other words, what we say in jail, burn up. You don't realize you burn up until you start. Like I never forget. I'm riding on the toll, panicking. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't find where to put the motherfucking money at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so I've been gone that long. I can't put the coins nowhere in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then on a more serious note, is my own wife. Like I'm realizing, like, she like, damn, you're so abrasive. But shit, I've been around men for 17 years and 2 months. There's always with some anger. So she may ask me a question and I'm sharp. And I'm not even trying to be sharp with her. You know, it's like, hey, you don't handle me like that. You know, like, damn, I ain't in my bag. But you don't realize it because that's what you've been dealing with. You've been dealing with other men and they try to run schemes and games. You ain't having it. You ain't then on different coasts and shit like that.
Yeah, my brother, he did 11 years in federal. And when he came out, there were certain words that I would say that he would take offense to. Like, okay, out here, it's not a big word for us when we play around and we'll say something like, that's some bitch shit. Oh, you're still acting like a bitch, fool, okay? It's just an insult. Somebody will say, well, fuck you or whatever.
Right.
But I said that to him, man, some bitch shit. You should have. And he said, what did you say to me? And he wanted to throw down. I was like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You know? And he was like, don't you ever call me a fucking bitch.
Right.
And I was like, you need to calm the fuck down, bro. Seriously. I said, don't try to implement your fucking prison rules here in my motherfucking house, bro. Okay? We out here. We ain't locked up no more. I don't care how many burpees or how many spreads you ate, you know? And it took him a while to, like, adapt to, like, you're not in prison anymore.
Right.
You know, so, yeah, bro. So,
true story. I mean, because at the end of the day now, with people, if you've been locked up or you had someone that's locked up, then you really understand the conversation or what we're saying. But it's a different world.
it is.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's a different world. Like, I got one of my brothers named Taiwan. He never, ever understands the logic. Like, if one of my guys pull up and they're telling the story, he'll sit there for a minute and be like, so why did you fight him? I'd be like, that was the second time he looked at me, fool. But why did you fight him? Because I knew it was going to be a third time, nigga. Yeah.
Right.
He don't get it because he's using this world logic.
Right.
But in that world, you have to nip shit in the bud because if you're playing mental chess, you know what's coming next. So
you know what's coming.
Let me go ahead and stop this right now. You think it's sweet right here? You know what I mean? Let's go.
Right.
You know, and it's crazy that you have to live like that, but hey, you know, it is what it is.
You know, it is crazy that you have to live like that. And I want to share something with my audience. There's been times that I get recognized because of this podcast, okay? And I have a lot of people that come up to me and, Tony, man, keep doing what you're doing. Tony, I love what you're doing. Yeah, I'm used to it. That's why I don't say nothing. But those are fireworks in the background, everybody. So I don't really say anything to these people that come up to me. The only thing that makes me feel uncomfortable is when somebody recognizes me. Say I'm at a restaurant. I've had a guy that, like, I'm eating, let's just say I'm on this side of the bar, you're on that side of the bar, but you're a little bit more further. And I'm eating, and he's just, and so I'm like, whether with my son or a friend, and I'm like, okay, this motherfucker's pissing me off. And he just keeps looking at me. So then he turns around and he looks at his lady, and he's like, and then he looks at me like that again, and he goes, and I'm like, okay. And I told, like, I think I was with my son or one of my daughters. I said, you know what, Jess, we're going to walk out together, and I'm going to stand right here where I got to pay. I need you just to walk out because I'm about to fuck this dude up. And she said, please, Dad, don't. And I said, no. This dude is just staring way too fucking much. So I'm walking out, and I see him get up, so I know it's about to go down. His girl walks out, and I look at him, I go, what's up? And he goes, oh, Tony, hey, man, I knew that was you.
See, that's you got caught like a deer in headlights, and that's when the street guy in you is like at a purgatory with the podcast guy.
Yes.
And I get it all the time. What the fuck going on? Because that's the street. Like we done did some things, and then but man, Twisted Black, man, same shit.
Yeah.
So I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it sucks, man. But like that's why, like, if you're a fan and I appreciate your guys' support, just say, hey, what's up, Tony? You know, or I watch you or something.
Right.
But when you just sit there and you just stare,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if that's a street stare or you're trying to figure out, is that him?
Right.
You know, and I'm just like, fuck, this guy ruined my whole fucking meal. Like, I didn't even finish eating my food and shit.
Yeah.
You know, but I do get recognized a lot, and I think when it started to bother me was when I'm at the gym. The first time I got recognized at the gym was like last year. I'm doing flat bench, okay, doing flat bench. Keep in mind my head is back, so when I'm going up, I see a guy. His head, he does this. Tony, is that you? While I'm lifting, bro, and I just put my man. Don't be doing that shit. What the fuck's wrong with you? Oh, I'm a fan.
Tony, I got to interview you. You been to jail?
No, thank God. In and out of county.
Your family been in jail?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you so, okay, now I have to, I got to tell you what's going on with you. You burn up, Tony. You burn up. You burn. You suffered the same injuries that I suffered. It's trauma, brother. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah.
Because if, like my brother back here, if he was doing benching and then somebody looked at him, he'd be like, hey. That's what he would say. Hey, what's going on? You know?
Right.
But
okay.
me and you, we like, what the fuck, nigga? Fuck out of here. You try to kill me.
Yeah.
You know
yes.
Yeah, because
I guess I didn't see it like that.
Yeah, man. You should, because you got to keep in mind, when your family members or your partners, your close people.
My close friends, definitely.
Okay. You did time with them. When you lost them, you did time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you come up in the streets like this motherfucker 5 feet from you trying to shoot at you, then your car won't start, that sounds like a scary movie. Yeah, you got trauma, baby.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought that up because there's times that I think that I've never got closure or healing from that. You know, and a lot of times, like, for an example, I remember when my brother came looking for me and he said, hey, they just killed somebody over here by the house. I said, what house? We're in front of the house. And that's all I'm going to say. And then I remember a time a house got shot at and they missed my dad by inches, you know, and I'm thinking, fuck, they're looking for me and my brother. I can't be bringing this shit home, you know. Then he kicked us out. The landlord kicked us out. Then we moved to another house around the corner. And then there was a fucking coyote that was sneaking people in, and people were saying that house was making too much noise. You thought it was us. They looked at us on the computer. Oh, that's the Alvarez. They're probably doing the same shit over there too, because they raided our house. They fucking came to our door. Get out. We don't want you living here. So we had to move a lot because that shit just followed us around a lot. You know. Then when even now when I still go to like my hood picnics and stuff like that, it's always like that.
You know, then you know that's why when they say a product of your environment, I mean, you know, certain shit, man.
You know what was the hardest thing for me to let go? Okay, in the 80s when I was slanging just rocks, ounces, I was never like a big time dude. And I never wanted to be big time because I was told you got two choices, dead or in jail. That's it. It's the only choices you have. So I just said, let me just do this so I can buy some DJ equipment.
Right.
Okay. So one thing that me and my friends used to always carry ounces in our pocket. Okay. And one thing that took years to leave, that when I left that and I went legit and I started doing music and I started making money, that every time I would hear a siren or see a cop, I'd always pat myself. Still thinking, you know, and then there's times even now as a 57-year-old man, when I'm driving, I see the cop, I'm thinking, is that motherfucker put me over? And really quickly, it goes through your mind, do I have anything?
Man, I don't know if we ever shake that.